Hi everyone, I'm Becky,
And I'm Sarah.
and we're doing Bickering Book Reviews. Today we are talking about The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren, which I was super excited to read. I got this off of NetGalley definitely, but I might have gotten it off of Edelweiss too.
I got it off Edelweiss.
So this book is about Jess. She is turning 30 years old. She's a single mom to a second grader named Juno. Seven. So I can remember 6 or 7. Um, And she's just like, she's a freelance statistician. She's trying to make bills meet. She rents an apartment in the complex her grandparents own. And she's kind of going through life. Her best friend is named Felicity Fizzy, is what they call her. And Fizzy convinces her through a series of events to join a dating service that matches you up based on your genetics. And she's like, whatever. So she gets like, has this moment of like total frustration and she does it. Well, there's different levels of matches. And like, if you match like 30%, you're this level. Well, Jess finds out that she's a 98% match with the guy who started the company and who created all this technology. And she had met him before and she kind of always thought that he was like standoffish and she didn't really care for him. But then the company's like, we have an IPO and we want this to look good. So we'll pay you $10,000 a month to like kind of fake date him. And she's like, well, I gotta pay for my kid's school. So yeah. And as they fake date, it becomes very real and things ensue.
Yeah, it was so sweet. I loved the character interactions in this book. Like I loved the character interactions between Jess and Fizzy. Like I feel like that's how the authors interact in real life. I love the interaction between Juno, her daughter, and Jess. I love the interaction. I love Pops and Nana Joe, and of course, I eventually grew to love River. I loved how River interacted with Juno. Like they were just adorable together.
Hilarious, yeah.
It was just so solidly awesome, and I had so much fun. Like, I guess the only thing that I wish that we had gotten inside of River's head. Like I kind of wanted to hear his perspective too. Like that's the one thing I had wished for.
And that kind of threw me because I think all of their other books are in the first person. And I know that usually it's both the male and female narrator. I know that they said that they didn't do that with is it Filthy Sweet Boy, the first one in the Wild seasons, because if you knew what was in Ansel's head at the beginning of the book, it would have ruined it. But that did, because like, and I started reading it, I was like, well, I might not like this because it's in third person, and it did get me. But I would have liked to know.
I mean, it still worked out. I just think I would have liked River a lot sooner had I been inside of his head.
And maybe that's why we're not inside his head. We're not supposed to like it, like you, because you are supposed to be like when you first meet River, you think he's a jerk,
right?
Total like fangirl moment. Juno goes to ballet class with Miss Mia from the Wild season books. And I kept waiting, like I kept waiting for there to be like a recital and Ansel to be there. And then this isn't gonna mean anything to you because you haven't read these books, but there's like right after that, they go to like this big investors like party, and it's a bio company, and I'm like, well, maybe Max or Will from the other books will be there because they invest in those companies. They weren't, and it didn't like need to be there, but I just had that moment of hope. So because I'm dealing with the fact that they're not writing those books anymore, which there were 10 of them. I accept it. I really don't feel like there's much I can say. Like it was the relationship was good. It was funny. It was fast.
And it didn't follow the plot arc that I expected that it like always happens. Like when there's always kind of that moment in a rom-com where like something pushes the relationship, and so you're afraid that they're going to break up, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so I really thought it was going to go one way, and it didn't. And I was so grateful because I was like, if it went that way, like it would have been a turnoff. But like the way that it ended up working out, like I was good with. I also appreciated the fact that Fizzy talks about, so she's a romance writer, right? And like so she talks about the fact that there are kind of levels of layers in the literature world as far as romance writers are considered like the lowest of the low, and they're like not literature. And I just thought that was really interesting kind of an interesting aspect to think through and, work.
You know what though? But I feel like that's true. I feel like,
Oh, I agree.
particularly like, and I don't want to I don't want to say anything particular, but in the library world, you talk to people and they're all like, well, this weekend I read this Steinbeck book, and I'm like, well, this weekend I read the Christina Lauren book, and I probably had more fun.
Right. Well, and I like how they talked about the fact that like all of her books are given adjectives like dirty or secret or like, and it shouldn't be something that's dirty. Like it isn't something that you need to read behind closed doors. Like it's
right.
She does like her talent is just as great as anybody else's.
Right. And like I said, this book was funny. It was fun.
It was funny. It was adorable.
And I just, yeah. And every time I read one of their books, I'm like, they need to make this into a movie.
I agree.
So we should just rate it.
Okay.
Our rating system starts at the top with 5 unicorns. We go down to 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, it's a horse.
I'm at 4 unicorns. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it.
I'm like at a solid
what would have
4.
made it 5. Maybe
that's
should be 5.
I'm like, I don't know what would make it a 5. Like I'm at a solid 4. So I might go with a 5.
I'm gonna go with a 5 because honestly, I don't know what I would have. No, I can't go with a 5 because I wanted to be inside River's head. I needed that perspective.
Well, maybe that's why. Because like I'm not quite at a 5. Like there's nothing that needs to be changed to make it like better what it is. But if you had that on top, it would have been like hot fudge on the sundae.
Yeah,
like the ice cream is good, but the hot fudge makes it better.
Right, I agree.
So that's where we are on the Soulmate Equation, and we'll see you around.
All right, bye.